Hello everyone, so in this video I'll explain why Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin can be deemed to be more evil than Jack Nicholson's Joker. Now, it's indisputable that Nicholson's Joker has a higher kill count than that of the Green Goblins. But if we consider the Goblin's intentions of ruling over the city and how he looks down on the common folk, it's clear that his morality doesn't veer too far off from that of the Joker's. Nevertheless, though, in terms of the damage and destruction caused, it cannot be denied that the Joker comes out on top. What makes the Goblin more evil, though, is the type of persona he is. One that is devoid of all humanity, and one that appears to be a living embodiment of pure evil, with the single goal of relishing in power. It's important to note that the Goblin and Norman are two distinct and separate entities, and when the Goblin rears his ugly head, it's almost like Norman has become possessed by an evil spirit that has seized control of his mind and body. The fact that the Goblin chooses to express his personality in a non-human form and identifies as a grotesque creature with fangs and elongated ears speaks volumes about his self-image. Nicholson's Joker also seeks power, but not to the extent of the Goblin. As evil as he is, at least the Joker still has some of his humanity intact, as expressed in his narcissism and his need for the media's attention, as well as his attraction to Vicky Vale. That makes him more predictable, and therefore easier to stop, as these emotional needs can be used against him. The Goblin, on the other hand, has no humanity, and therefore no emotional flaws to distract him from his laser-like focus on advancing his nefarious purposes. Unlike Nicholson's Joker, the Goblin isn't even afraid of death, which is depicted by his calm demeanor when Tom Holland's Spider-Man was about to end him. The Goblin did beg for mercy from Maguire's Spider-Man, but that was more of a strategic ploy to gain an advantage. Just look at how nonchalant his reaction was in the face of his oncoming glider, again reinforcing his lack of fear of death, which makes him more dangerously evil. Next, we have the Goblin's attempt to corrupt the Spider-Men, plural. It's a common trait to be a mere enemy of the hero, which is what Nicholson's Joker is, with his simple antagonistic relationship with Batman. It's a deeper level of evil, however, to attempt to sway your opposition and influence them to become something like what you are. The Goblin does this twice, first with Maguire's Spider-Man in his invitation to join him, by shrewdly using the selling point that the public would eventually turn against him. With Holland's Spider-Man, he takes it a step further by persuading him that morality is a weakness and that no good deed goes unpunished when his attempt to cure the villains results in the death of Aunt May. Moving on, we can look at the Goblin's sadism. Most of the Joker's victims die a relatively quick death. With the Goblin, however, he occasionally takes measures to inflict the most amount of pain, such as when he planned to inflict tremendous emotional pain on Maguire's Spider-Man to the point that he wished he were dead, and when he planned to finish Mary Jane off, nice and slow. With Holland's Spider-Man, this is again seen when he tries to guilt-trip him into thinking that Aunt May's death was ultimately his fault. And finally, the most egregious of all, we have the Goblin's hatred for his own host of Norman. Again, this ties back to the Goblin's lack of humanity. It's one thing to have no regard for the lives of others, which is what Nicholson's Joker is guilty of, as seen by how he just kills Bob out of left field and by his treatment of Alicia, which led to her demise. With the Goblin, however, he is in a unique position in that he despises his own host, seeing him as a weakness to be expelled. And if it were possible to survive without him, the Goblin would likely kill Norman and be done with him. Such is the level of hatred, the level of evil, that not even the person that is keeping him alive is spared from his murderous intent. So, for all those reasons, the Green Goblin from the Raimi-verse can be deemed to be more evil than Nicholson's Joker. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.